Go. Hey, yo, let's go. You know what it is. Another week of that Smoking Bear Show. I'm Mike Rennie. With me, as always, the lovely Mary. How's it going?
It's doing wonderful. It's not really feeling like fall here in Pittsburgh. It's pretty warm today, which means I was wearing, a t-shirt and shorts and polo and
Ooh,
sporting
look
the
at
Smoking
that.
Mare logo. So,
Looking good. Look at that swag. That's the woman's polo. Looking clean.
and
Love
we've
to
been
see it.
seeing some really great photos on Twitter and everything for people receiving shirts and taking
Yeah.
a photo and tagging us. So that was really cool to see.
Love to see it. A lot of the larger sizes are gone. I got some mediums and small lefts, but I have a website being finished. It's going to be like a pop up website, hat, polo tee, and a hoodie. Just go for 3 weeks. It's coming right now. More to come on that. So it's going to be a cool deal. I'm going to do a donation to an aftercare program with it. So good stuff cooking in the kitchen here. We got a great show today. We got Miguel, Clement Racing Stables. Come on now, one of my favorites of all time. That family, watching them, seeing how they handle themselves, has kept me in the game of racing as a fan. Go over the Pennsylvania Derby, Horse of the Week, and more. And we got a special week, couple things. Water Burial Week, like I always get pumped up. We know who it is. Let's go. Let's hop right into the Pennsylvania Derby. Grade 1, mile and an eighth, 3-year-olds. Like Mary and I were talking about, has produced some quality horses for the outcome of this. Mary, what's some early lean and who are for this competitive race of 11, huh?
It really is competitive, and I've been torn in so many different directions. But
Yeah.
for the price point of view, I really, really want to take a shot on We the People. I really want to take a
Okay.
shot on this horse because I think
Yeah.
his Peter Pan performance was very, very good. I think maybe the distance was a little too much for him in the Belmont Stakes. We're dropping back in distance from that race to a mile and an eighth. I know he was in the West Virginia Derby, I believe.
It's off track in the West
Yeah,
Virginia Derby.
it was a sloppy track. I'm going to give
Yep.
him, the benefit of the doubt there, and I would like to take a shot on this horse and hopefully at a price.
No, definitely will be a price. That horse, it wouldn't, like we were talking, that wouldn't surprise me. And kind of almost any of them wouldn't surprise me in the race. My speed, I was interested in, like we were kind of talking about simplification. I don't think has a chance of winning it. He can't even would beat my boy White Abrario, but he's interesting for the pace scenario. He can go, and he's sat off it. I think they like him closer to the front. So I have kind of the 3-6-8 also kind of going to set it up for the speed then to go. I think there's going to be plenty of pace to set it up for either, what I like. Zandon is going to be tough. Going to drop off, sit the pace, but Waterbury on the outside, going to sit off that speed, and I hope it's going to be a price. My boy White, and his odds show it. I mean, he's 8-1 out of all these horses in this race. It shows, and his works, 2 bullet works at Saratoga, 1 of 79. Waterbury gets that W for me. Homer pick of the week, you know it. We got the hat here. We all roll it. Let's go, Waterbury. But I'm key boxing him because I think wouldn't shock me. So I'm going to do it for betting within the race. Exact key box with Waterbury, Zandon, and Cyber Knight. I don't think Tabia, I always messed up his name. Bounce, don't like that one. And I also think Skippy Longstocking won the West Virginia Derby. Safi's other one on the off track. Who's his dad? Exaggerator. Loves the off track. So Skippy Longstocking will bounce. You talk about bounce like that horse. And I know Safi, so trust me, I would not play Skippy Longstocking as for my advice. So Waterbury, Zandon my 2 with Waterbury on the top. And I got a double for this race. Race 11 is a grade 1. The girls, tough race. Race 11, I'm going with the Baffert Claim, a day Manor. We're going to do a double with the 2, with the 1 and 11. And the next race, that's the Zandon and Waterbury. So my grade 1 double, race 11 and 12. The Dare Manor, the Baffert off the Claim with Zandon and Waterbury. A little double for there. What do you think about that double, Mary?
I like it. We're going to fire on it.
Well, fine. It's gonna be a tough one. That'll pay for sure. Because I don't know if Baffert will even be the favorite before that. It's interesting. I think. What do you think? Real quick, will Sacred Off go off as betting favorite?
I think she will. I think she definitely will, just based on the races that she's been a part of alone.
Because of how good Ness has looked,
Yeah. Ness has looked fabulous, and you can't take away the Kentucky Oats win from Secret Oath. That's something you definitely can't take away from the horse. Yep. I think she's a very pretty horse, and she looks pretty, like, I don't know, meaty. Yeah. I don't know how else to explain it. She looks like she's very built when you see her, and I would love to see what she looks like on this performance.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. So that's my little play. Exciting field of at Parks the whole day. Great opportunities all around. And I got a little play. Let's transition for today. We got Belmont at the Big A. This is my Thursday double. Let's get out of the gate. A little bit of a bankroll builder. That Chad Firster, man, come on. Miguel Franco up. Looks tough. I usually try to beat the Chads. I just couldn't do it. So we're going to single the Chad and spread it a little bit there. 1, 2, 4, and race 2 tomorrow. Belmont at the Big A. Let's get those home. Get a little ammo for the day there. Huh? We're going to get that home, Mary. Let's get these done. That's to be it. It's switching it. We've been 2 out of 3. We're really close. This one's coming home. But it's all fun and stuff. Fire with your friends. Do some group tickets. It's fun, right?
It's a lot of fun. And granted, I haven't had the best luck at Belmont at the Big A. You can't deny that the betting has been so much fun there since this started last week.
All over the place. Opportunities galore. Let's try to, change that fun into winning tickets, which we all like. That's for sure. It's fun and games, but we all want to win too. But hey, what a cool interview. Appreciate the time, Mr. Miguel Clement. Know he's busy. Outfit they do. We got that interview coming up right now. Let's hop into it. And here is assistant trainer, Miguel Clement. We are back. We welcome this week Miguel Clement from the Clement Racing Stables. Very excited for you taking the time to join us. How's it going?
Very good. How is everyone?
We're great here. I'm in Portland, Oregon. I think Mary's Pittsburgh, and you're still NY area, so we got everywhere a little bit covered today.
Correct. Still in Saratoga.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I made my first trip up there. It was amazing. I'll be back for sure next year.
So we've seen kind of all your involvement in racing, and we just kind of want to know a little bit more about all the places you've traveled, what you've learned, and what you're kind of bringing into your career right now with all the experiences that you've had.
Yeah, no, I was very fortunate. My parents were very lucky in the sense that it's like a generational thing. So they've done it for 3 generations in horse racing. So horse racing was always going to be a part of my future. They forced me to study and focus on academics. So after graduating from university, then I head to the Flying Start program, which at the time I think was the Darley Flying Start, which is now called the DeGaulle Flying Starts. Mm-hmm. And it's like a 2-year program where you travel the world. You work in several different countries. You get to experience many other aspects of the industry that you probably would have never experienced otherwise in different regions of the world for sure. And then after completing that, I was an pupil assistant to Hugo Palmer for 2.5 years, and I spent a stint also with Mike the Cock in South Africa before coming back to the States. So yeah, I spent my fair time, I spent like 5 years abroad. So.
Yeah, that was. What do you think about going to the kind of the Hugo Palmer? Working aside him, how was that experience?
Yeah, listen, any experience is what you do, put into it and when you learn from, which is fascinating. Every industry, especially ours is, each country varies so much for the way that you manage horses, the way that racing operates, the way that the owners, the clientele, the communication, the training regimes, I mean, you name it. It varies so much country by country. So anything you can gather, you can learn, if you're able to incorporate. Many things you can't incorporate in the States, for instance, but at least you learn, you see different aspects, and you think about ideas, and it pushes you to learn. There's many different ways of training a racehorse, And the more you see, the more exposed to, the more you can bring back different ideas. And you may never apply them, but at least you're exposed to them, you see it, and it's ideas to be bounced back and forth between you and whoever you work with, just to always adapt. Because in our industry, you have to adapt. Many times you see trainers who are very successful for a short period of time, 20, 30, 40 years later, you say, oh, this guy's no longer successful. It's not because he's not doing the same training regime. It's probably because of that. It's because they don't adapt to the times. And you have to adapt.
Yeah.
Can you get a little more specific about what you mean by that? In what training skills and adaptability?
So anything. Like in Australia, for instance, we swam with horses a lot. We worked horses like 2 or 3 times a week over shorter distances. The feed's completely different. I mean, you name it. And Europe is completely different. And that's also a big emphasis is also on labor. Some countries' labor is very difficult and very costly. In the States, I know we complain that our labor is expensive, but it's actually quite cheap compared to other countries. And as a result, having hot walkers in America is non-existent in most parts of the world. They either put them on the horse walker or they do not walk them after training. In England, for instance, we do not have, for instance, hot walkers. But where we were trained was like 20 minutes away from the stable. So by the time they they walked with a rider back to the track, that was considered their cool out. So it varies. You name it, in terms of medication, in terms of training, in terms of owner clientele, in terms of communication, race program and analysis. It varies per country, so you can only do what suits you in that country, and vice versa.
Yeah. And what was there a connection? What brought you something we don't see really in the States? I've seen in some early mornings, the South Africa racing. What made you go to there? Was there something that intrigued you about how they trained that you wanted to take back with you, or is it just kind of on a whim thing?
So when I was on the Flying Start, I did my placement in Dubai with Mike DeCock, and I grew quite fond of him. And he's different. He trains a lot on the treadmill. He made me think a lot. He and his team there. His son's a very big part of the equation as well. And I got quite close to him. So I decided to go to South Africa for like, I think, 4 or 5 months. And I did it actually for free. I just loved it. I just wanted to learn there. Just go there and just see it as much as I can and learn as much as I can. Because we all hear about Mike DeCock. And there's many things they do completely different. They train everything barefoot. We started training everything barefoot in the winter at pacing, so we have no concrete. That's an example of something we do from over there. There's many ideas, many things. There's many things to learn, and he's I think he's one of the best in the world. I really do.
That's great. That's good stuff. Yeah, stuff like the normal person wouldn't know about at all. You know what I mean?
I was lucky to work for him when he had a horse called Mubtahij. When I was working with him in Dubai, and Mubtahij won very impressive in the UAE Derby. Then he came to the States. He ran, I think, 5th or 6th in the Derby, and then he shipped to my dad's barn actually for the Belmont Stakes, and I think he ran 3rd or 4th. I think that was the year of American Pharoah, actually, to be honest with you. And he ran 3rd or 4th with Dahij, and it was a great relationship that started from there. But that all happened thanks to the Flying Starts, and then as a result, they sent their best horse to us, and we looked after them with their son. I went to go be in South Africa with his father. So I mean, it was a great relationship with Matthew and Mike, and I was very lucky to be a part of it.
At any point, did you think you might stay overseas?
I would. I didn't like the place. I love the place. And for me, I didn't think the quality of racing was big enough to entice me away from the States. If it had the prestige that it does in Europe, or if it had the prize money that it had in the States, there would have been maybe a chance that I would stay there longer. I don't think it would ever lure me away forever, but it definitely would have lured me for a year or 2 longer there than maybe I would have delayed England. But the way of life's different. I don't know how to describe it better than if you enjoy horse racing, you enjoy just the basics. That is, for me, the most fundamental basics of the game, because everything else is almost irrelevant. A bit like in Europe, too, in England. You don't do it for the money aspect. If you do it for the money aspect, you have 0 chance. It's just the prize money is non-existent for the level and the cost of everything. So it's really a sport of kings in Europe. It's not like the States. The States has a much healthier owner and racing population. And in Europe, you go to the top sales, the top 40 lots will probably be bought by maybe about 6 or 7 owners. At Keeneland, you look at the top 40 lots, the top 40 hips would probably be bought by 20 or 30 different names you could easily come across. They could buy expensive horses. In Europe, it's very much focal, and there's It's probably not the best market, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, it's good information to know. Looking at it, if I ever bet on it, kind of, I didn't know it was that only 6 or 7 outfits kind of take most of it. I didn't know that over there. But yeah, that kind of brings us to the States. Then you decided to, hey, let's join the family. I'm a huge fan. Gulfstream is one of my favorite spots, and I know your dad and the stables was out of Gulfstream a lot more when they had turf. I'm talking like 2013 back then and stuff. But yeah, so what made you finally decide, hey, I'm going to come with the family? How has that been, and how's your role changed from when you started to now working with the family?
No, I was always part of the family. Even from a young kid, the plan was always to come back home. The question is when. And Dad thought it'd be smarter that I go abroad, learn as much as I can. The only time you can travel is when you're young, before you have responsibilities, before you have a family, before you have all these restrictions, I suppose you could say, that wouldn't permit it. And I was lucky. I was always the part of the plan, and we head back to the States, and I was lucky. I was lucky because my dad already had a great team in place. I just I fit right in, and it was lucky in the sense that the team was already formed. I didn't have to create a team. He had a very successful stable many years before me. He had a great team way before me, and I was just a small part of the equation. I was just lucky to come in.
Yeah, no, I love how, and you guys go about it the right way. That's why I'm a big fan. Everything's respectable. You carry your guys' self the right way. You deal with horses first mentality, not like you said, probably not as much better quality than quantity with you guys for sure, right?
Yeah, that's the dream. My dream, for instance, if an owner says, let's buy 5 or 6 at a sales and let's go for them all, I would love to tell them they'll go for more like the one approach, just get the one quality more than the shotgun approach. Same with horses. For me, what excites me, I'm sure my dad would be a firm believer in it, is the stakes. Stakes horses for us is what really excites us. I mean, we like to win races 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's really race 7 and 8 that excite us the most, if that makes sense.
It definitely does.
That's what really gets us excited. Like, for instance, tomorrow, my set list, I've already know the 8 horses I'm working. I'm already thinking now about my 2 works on the grass that really excite me, that I'm thinking about already, 15, 16 hours out type of thing. That's what excites me the most. That's what gets me up in the morning.
Heck yeah, that's what I love. Love to hear that. You care about your job. You're putting in the correct time, and what you're talking about. And a couple horses. Yeah, you do. And I know you're sharp too. A couple horses that just ran. Do any plans yet? Gufo. How did Gufo come out?
So I was bold. I know a lot of people thought we were greedy for running him right back, but to be fair, we were a head away from pulling off quite a feat, I thought. Winning the Grade 1 Sword Dancer, and then 14 years later, winning the $1 million race at Kentucky Downs.
I agree.
It was really just a head away. It's a bit of a rough trip. Probably with a smoother trip, you would have got it done.
Yeah.
And it came out of the race in good order. He's at Belmont now with Dad, and Dad told me just today, you won't believe it, but he's moving very well. He's fresh, and he's actually full of life. The main reason why we decided to go for it at Kentucky Downs is because after the Sword Dancer, he was full of life. He was bucking, kicking, eating everything, full of life in the round pen, training well, eating well. I mean, go back to basics. If they're training well, they look happy, they're doing well, go for it. So what if they don't run their A race? They're running a bit on short rest. They're happy, you have to go for it. But in terms of Gufo, he'll probably tell us. He'll tell us what to do next. If he's doing as well now as what he was before, we probably go for the Turf Classic. I know it's aggressive. It's in 3 weeks, but horse. Like pieces of art that we have in the background for us here. They're meant to run. If they're able to, you go for it. I'm a firm believer that if they're doing well, go on as much as you can. And if you're not doing well enough to run the Turf Classic, don't worry about it. You wait, and you have something called the Brutus Cup, which is just 4 weeks later. So that'll be exciting as well.
And they're just like. Go ahead.
I was just saying, and you're already in for that with the win in the Sword Dancer. So.
Correct. I guess it makes it easier for the owner financially.
Yeah. And I like your approach because I played college sports. I've been around athletes my whole life. They're in form. Like you said, they're eating, they're coming out fine. Like, you play a game, you come out bad. An athlete needs more time off than not. Like you said, if the horse is in form, it's not like you're doing any harm, I don't feel. So I love, you guys, of course, especially from your background. So I agree with you guys know what you're doing on placing it. And I thought was clear and was going to win that, to be honest. I was going to get that other win, which would have been pretty cool for the outfit and for the horse. It's a special horse, I feel like. Also, it's showing a lot. I'm excited to see.
Without a doubt. He's won grade 1s from 3, 4, and now 5. I mean, he's top class. He always runs, his big race. He may not always win, but he's always right there in the frame, which makes it exciting. And you just have to look after him, keep him sound, and he takes care of the rest. It's fun.
Yeah. And you got just a quick course, a little bit about the Jockey Club this weekend. It's Kanzi. Am I saying that correctly?
I think it's Kanezi. At least I've been pronouncing it Kanezi. You might be right, but I pronounce it Kanezi, But I mean, for years, we may have been pronouncing things wrong too, Gioponti, we just called him Gioponti for years because that's how Dad would pronounce it. So who knows? Maybe we've been saying it wrong forever.
I'll go with you guys. How is the horse looking? How are you guys pretty excited about that? What's it looking like?
So I think she's like the second longest shot on the board. It's a field of 6. I think she's like 8-1. She's training very well. We were disappointed with her last race. We cut her back and trip to a mile at Saratoga in the restricted stakes. And there might have been a mistake. Even though we face a weaker competition by going in the restricted stakes, we probably should have gone to Lake Placid, which is a mile and 8. Just because I think she stays. I think the further the better. She's a big, long, tall, beautiful filly. I think she's got a gigantic stride. My fantasy would be that Todd does not run his, and we were able to go on the front end, slow them down, and be the first one to kick.
I like that.
I know the German filly has some speed, but it's from Germany. But she does have some tactical speed. I think 3 of her last 4 starts, she was 4th place. Todd's filly beat us in the Tour then at Saratoga. She was 4th place, even though she didn't go very quick early on. Ours has tactical speed, so the question is, will we be sitting 1st, 2nd, or 3rd? I don't know, but that's up to Javier to figure it out. But she's training well, and she's not black type somehow this filly yet. She's lightly raced. She's only run 4 times. So even if she gets 3rd, it's a big deal. It's a $700,000 race. She's training well. McCulloch is obviously the heavy favorite. The German filly is obviously scary, the filly that won the German Oaks. But it's just not that much depth. So if you get lucky, you could pay dividends type of thing, especially at this race. And mile 3/8 at Aqueduct. Who knows? Oh.
Right? With 4 horse today in the hurdle race showed some people what's up with that. So that horse ended up winning by a lot, like you said. And winning a little field like that, I mean, you're the second longest shot at 8-1. That just shows how I think almost kind of even in a way. Not as much, I think not a lot of separation from the horses, I would say. Especially like you said, it's Aqueduct. And how's that for you guys transitioning with it being an Aqueduct? I know you guys are more go south for the winter historically. Is this kind of how this transition been for you guys so far?
So we always keep staying in New York as long as we can until about mid-December. And then we just think it's too cold. I think the horses take it rough. We'll stay maybe behind with 1 or 2 runners, and that's it. Close up shop January, February time. And by mid-March, we start shipping from Florida back up to New York. So we've always run in New York. Our whole focus is New York. Even when we go to Florida, if you ask us truthfully, we would love to hibernate in the wintertime, like our horses, and save the conditions for the prize money in New York, which we think is outstanding, especially compared to when we run for so little in Florida. And our real emphasis for the whole stable is New York. Dad's a firm believer that it's a New Yorker, and the quality of racing is New York, and we should be in New York. So we only go to Florida really as some R&R and due to seasonal change. It's too rough to keep the better horses in New York, I think, in the winter. Nevertheless, it's Dad. If you ask Dad's opinion, the whole stable at Belmont, I'm sure they're devastated we don't run at Belmont. I suppose you could say that it's like an investment towards our future, the fact that they're doing the renovations and such.
True.
Nevertheless, as I keep telling everyone, it's a massive inconvenience for us, but it's fair in the sense that it's a massive inconvenience for all the major outfits and all outfits at Belmont. We all have to run at Aqueduct, so it's no difference. No one has a real advantage. It's disadvantageous for all of us. It's just an obstacle we all have to overcome and just go ahead and do it. What would be unfair is if, for instance, you had some people based at Aqueduct and we were based at Belmont to Saratoga and we had to ship in to race there. That would be an inconvenience. And that would be a disadvantage. This is fair for everybody in the sense that no one is able to be based there. We all have to ship in. We all have to endure the annoying van trip and the double shipping from Saratoga and this, that, the other. And it's not that bad in the sense that it's fair. As long as it's fair, that's all that matters. So,
and what's fair playing field? Yeah.
It's a level playing field that's annoying for all of us. You just have to adapt, and whoever adapts to it best, I guess, makes it the least biggest obstacles to overcome, I suppose.
Yeah, especially you guys coming off an amazing Belmont meet last time out. So that's for sure. But yeah, We, hey, just to wrap this up, I want to thank you for taking the time for coming on. This is great info. We've enjoyed it, and best of luck going forward. I know you guys got plenty of stuff brewing in the kitchen, it looks like, and good luck this weekend in the Jockey Club, and hopefully you get that W.
Yeah, that's a tough one. We have plenty of runners this week. I'm not sure if that's going to be the W, but I sure hope so.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thanks again, Miguel, and hope to see you around.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
All right. Peace.
And excuse me. And we are back. What a cool interview that was, right?
I think he offers something that we haven't really seen recently, which is this international experience with racing and coming back to the States and kind of talking about different things that he learned across the pond and anywhere else he's been. So that was super cool. So thank you for him.
Definitely. It's cool for him to share that. And I know someone like him, just judging off his personality, he would take in everything, he's seeing and apply it. He's that type of guy that will definitely apply something that works moving forward. And it's cool to see he loves South Africa. And if they had bigger stakes, he would like to be chilling there more. So, but yes, thanks for your time, Miguel. Best of luck going forward. And we got a horse of the week, a special one, that's for sure. Who we got?
Okay, so this was submitted to us by Donald, and this is Gun Runner in a stall in Saratoga back in 2017. Who, we were just talking earlier about how, Gun Runner has been such an incredible sire over the last 2 years, and he's just knocking the world on fire.
Love it. Love it. Gun Runner, great sire. Look at him chilling. Love it. Nice and cozy. Enjoy your retirement. You're sending a lot of great babies out. Good job. And there we go. Hey, and before we wrap it up, I'm getting back in my Gulfstream flow, and got a little horse of the week. It's race 3. No, it's the last one. Excuse that one.
Oh, sorry.
Last week's. It's all good. It's race 3, Friday, Gulfstream Park. Sisters Duty, first timer in the. It's a maiden special weight. It's an 8-1 morning line. I'm guessing we'll go off around that or 10-1. Looks like a real tough field, but we're going with Sisters Duty. That's Friday, race 3, Gulfstream Park. We're gonna get that Gulfstream candle lit here. Been a little cold last couple weeks. Getting my flow going back Gulfstream. Took some time off, but we're coming in hot to be a great weekend. And let's go Wider Barrio for me and everyone. Thanks for stopping by. Another week of that Smoke and Mare show. Everyone take it easy. Smoke.
Take care.